What if I told you that a single, entirely preventable safety failure cost one major company over $100 million? Welcome to the terrifying new reality of 2026 OSHA enforcement, where the old, we've always done it this way mindset is literally bankrupting businesses overnight. I'm a seasoned EHS manager. I've got over 15 years in the trenches, and in this explainer, we're tracking the exact regulatory liabilities that will destroy your operational efficiency and trigger some truly catastrophic financial impacts. Okay, let's dive right into this. $102.7 million. Just let that sink in for a second. This massive penalty was levied against BP Products North America following a tragic refinery explosion, combined with a total failure to correct known safety hazards. It still stands as the largest OSHA fine in U.S. history. So when we talk about OSHA penalties in 2026, we aren't just talking about a slap on the wrist or, the cost of doing business. No way. We are talking about historic, devastating financial consequences for failing to protect your workforce. But hey, maybe you're thinking, well, we aren't a massive oil refinery. It's not just the huge industrial disasters that trigger these numbers. Since 2017, the retail giant Dollar General has faced over $21 million in proposed penalties. And how did that happen? Simply through everyday hazards. Things like obstructed exit routes, blocked fire extinguishers, and unsafe material storage. Because here's the thing. Ignored hazards accumulate. When a company repeatedly ignores standard safety protocols across multiple sites, regulators absolutely stop treating them as isolated incidents, and they start dropping severe, corporate-wide settlements. To really understand the risk here, we have to talk about the stark new reality of the 2026 penalty structure. Thanks to annual inflation adjustments, a single serious violation can now cost you up to $16,550. But it gets worse. A willful violation, which basically means you knew about the hazard and just ignored it, or a repeated violation, now carries a maximum penalty of over $165,000 per instance. And if you have a failure to abate, you're looking at $16,550 per day every single day it goes unfixed. A single inspection can easily cross the $1 million mark before the inspector even drives off your lot. Section 1, the Everybody Does This Trap. Violations number 10, 9, and 8. Now that we know exactly what the stakes are, let's count down the top 10 citations. We're starting with the bottom tier. These are the common, everyday oversights where the financial bleeding actually begins. They might seem minor, but they are incredibly expensive. Coming in at number 10 is machine guarding with over 1,200 citations. Just picture unguarded point-of-operation machinery running daily on a busy shop floor. At number 9 is eye and face PPE, missing in over 1,600 cases. And at number 8, powered industrial trucks. We are talking about uncertified forklift operators and skipped daily inspections. Nailing basic compliance here doesn't just stop the fines, it actively prevents serious injuries and keeps your operations running without crippling downtime. And if you think you can just sort of ignore these basic requirements, listen to this direct quote from OSHA regarding a recent major penalty. They said the company, quote, continues to discount safety, a history of willful, repeat, and serious workplace safety violations. Treating basic machine guarding, or PPE, as optional drops your company straight into the Severe Violator Enforcement Program, or SVEP. And trust me, you do not want to be there. Once you're in the SVEP, you face mandatory follow-up inspections, public listing, and aggressive corporate-wide enforcement actions. Section 2, where the real money starts. Violations number 7, 6, and 5. As we climb this list, things escalate from simple oversights to complex, heavily fined programs. At number 7, we have scaffolding, with over 1,900 citations. Missing guardrails and poor foundations are a constant target for inspectors. Number 6 is fall protection training, because it's not enough to just hand out the harnesses, right? If you don't document that training, boom, it's a violation. And at number 5, respiratory protection. Did you know that missing a simple medical evaluation or fit test before an employee puts on a respirator can cost you thousands of dollars per employee? It's honestly one of the easiest paperwork traps to fall into. It's also absolutely crucial to understand that OSHA is evolving. Take Amazon, for example. They recently entered into a $145,000 settlement, and it wasn't just for site-specific physical hazards. It was for corporate-wide ergonomic issues and record-keeping under the General Duty Clause. Regulators are looking way beyond acute hazards now. They are analyzing your enterprise-wide musculoskeletal injury trends and demanding structural, corporate-wide safety investments. Section 3, the multi-million-dollar zone. Violations number 4, 3, and 2. We are officially entering the danger zone. The human and financial risks associated with these next violations are just astronomical. At number 4 is lockout/shagout, or LODO, with over 2,100 citations. Number 3 is ladders, and number 2 is hazard communication, which essentially means failing to properly label and train workers on dangerous chemicals. Let's talk about lockout/shagout for a second. In a recent case, a company called Knox US was hit with massive fines because missing LODO procedures led to horrific caught-in and amputation hazards. OSHA issued willful citations because the company totally failed to prevent contact with operating machine parts. To show you how incredibly fast these numbers compound, let's look at Sound Construction Inc. They faced a $1.22 million penalty in 2025. Why? Well, during a follow-up inspection, OSHA found workers were still exposed to cave-in hazards, even after a previous settlement. A repeated violation turns a known hazard into a catastrophic 7-figure fine. When you fail to correct a hazard you've already been warned about, OSHA's patience absolutely vanishes and your budget gets completely decimated. All right, we've covered 9 of the top 10, so I want you to just think for a second. What single violation accounts for nearly 6,000 citations and millions of dollars in fines every single year? What is the absolute most dangerous and expensive liability a safety manager faces today?
Section 4, the ultimate company killer. Violation number 1.
Yep, the crucial point is right here. We have reached the number 1 violation in the 2026 OSHA data, fall protection. With nearly 6,000 violations, it absolutely dominates the citation data, eclipsing hazard communication and ladders by a massive margin. For the 15th consecutive year, general requirements for fall protection, meaning missing guardrails, missing safety nets, and lacking personal fall arrest systems on elevated surfaces, remains the number 1 reason OSHA fines companies. It's the leading cause of construction fatalities, and regulators show zero mercy when they enforce it. Now, what's genuinely terrifying is the math behind this enforcement. You really need to understand OSHA's instance-by-instance, or IBI, citation policy. In the past, you might get 1 fine for a missing guardrail, but under the expanded IBI policy in 2026, OSHA can issue separate maximum penalties for every single individual worker exposed to that hazard. That means a single missing fall protection harness, if 5 workers are up on that roof, can result in 5 separate $165,000 fines. It's a terrifying multiplier effect. Section 5, the costly common pattern. What all 10 have in common. So what really ties all of this together? From machine guarding all the way up to fall protection, there is an overarching behavioral pattern behind all these top violations, and safety professionals have to avoid it at all costs. Here's the exact sequence of how a minor compliance issue balloons into a business-ending fine. Step 1, a hazard is detected, maybe during an inspection or an internal audit. Step 2, the company fails to abate or correct it. Step 3, OSHA returns, spots the uncorrected issue, and applies that instance-by-instance multiplier, charging you per exposed employee. And finally, Step 4, you are thrown into the severe violator enforcement program. You've now gone from a totally manageable fix to a multi-million-dollar liability. Look, safety compliance isn't just some annoying legal formality. It's your ultimate operational advantage. Every single one of these top 10 violations is entirely preventable. The data from 2026 gives you the exact roadmap to prioritize your compliance efforts right now. So I'll leave you with this question. Will you correct the hazard today, or are you going to pay the multiplier tomorrow? Like, share, and subscribe to HSC Study for more high-impact safety insights.